I will turn the main heater off here in a minute. I'm going to let it run for like another couple minutes and then I'll turn it off. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to get a back workout in before the family gets up. Merry Christmas to you. How you guys feeling? Good morning. If you haven't checked in, check in, say hi. Ricky. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Let me shut off this torpedo heater. Ricky Bobby. If you guys would be so kind and hit that up, get more people involved. Try to keep this do a couple little supersets here before I move to the cable system. Jared, same to you. Door control module for his 2008 Lincoln Town Car, eBay. Go on eBay, find a private seller that has a really good rating, that has really good rapport with selling, and find the module with the same part number that's on the one in his door. So he's going to have to take his door off, take the module out, go on eBay and find the exact same one, but find it from a seller with a really good rating. K? What does K mean? K for what? What are we K'ing for? Ooh-wee. Satan, good morning, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you. I'll say something to Dorman. I get direct contact with them, so I'll say something to them and see if they're interested in maybe coming up with one. Good morning, Joseph. What's your take on Ford's 10-speed transmission? From what I saw online, Ford fixed the CDF drum for 25. That is correct. I've talked a lot about the 10-speed transmission. Are you newer here, Joseph? Or have you been here for a while? Jay Cass, Merry Christmas to you as well. Hope your family has a blessed one. Happy holidays to you. New here? Alright, so the 10-speed transmission obviously has been an issue since 2017. In 2021, 2022, they came up with a new updated CDF drum that supposedly fixed the problem. You really don't hear too many 10-speed issues anymore. I do think the 10-speed transmission is a good transmission. I do think that it can be very beneficial, but I don't actually see the need for it in today's driving. I think it's just overkill. It's just a way to meet EPA standards and make people happier, to keep the engine RPM at a lower RPM, at a faster speed, when it's kind of, you're defeating the purpose of really giving it the old Italian tune-up per se. I like my car to be at a little bit of a higher RPM, not extremely high. It helps keep things moving and clean. 10 speed at 70 mile an hour or whatever, you know, you're 1500 RPM, I don't know exactly what it is. To me, that's like, I'd rather be like 1900, 2000 RPM at that speed, somewhere 1800 to 2000 RPM. When we start seeing 1400 RPM at 70 mile an hour, I understand that saving fuel, but I think there's some risk with reward, and which way do you want to go? I do like the fact that they fixed the problem. And I do think overall it's a decent transmission, especially from 21 on, 22 on, whenever they came up with the updated CDF drum. So I prefer a 6-speed. I won't really do, I try not to, I might end up going to a 10-speed in the future, but I try not to. The 10 speeds hunt for gears a little too much, and when you're trying to pull something, unless you remember to put it in tow mode every time, it kind of gets a little finicky with how it wants to perform. So that's my take on it. OEM thermostat for a 2010 Grand Marquis. Yeah, for the most part, though. Those are finicky parts. I don't like to cheap out on those parts. Now, if it's going to be really hard for you to get one, then go with an aftermarket. But I would try to go with somebody like Napa or somebody like, something like that. All right. Good morning. I went with it because '25 Jeep Cherokee. I wouldn't say it's a piece of junk. Don't let them excessively idle. They just got too much crap going on, man. And Chryslers are known for their electronic problems, especially the Jeeps. You're probably fine overall. If you don't plan on keeping it out of warranty or, up to 100,000 miles, you're probably fine. But I don't know. If it was me personally, I wouldn't trust a newer Chrysler product. I would say the last 10 years, I probably wouldn't trust them. Plus, Chrysler's just, to me, the Jeeps drive good, they look good, they perform good, but overall, they're just kind of very cheaply made. Even the nicer ones with a nicer interior, they're still kind of cheap. You still feel like cheap when you're inside in the nicer interior ones, the higher end ones. It just feels cheap driving them. The overall feel is good, but when you're inside and you're looking at everything, and everything's plastic and it's bland and it's just looks like very low quality, I personally can't get into that. Nice, yeah. The 4.6 with the 6R80s, they're just unbeatable. I don't know much about the newer Mazdas. They seem to have really changed their reputation. A lot of people really enjoy the newer Mazdas. They have no regrets. So I wouldn't hesitate. Mazda over the last few years have really seemed to up their game when it comes to quality. They're probably one of the sleeper companies that most people don't know about or they don't pay attention to. Mazda's done a good job, but they also come with their new car issues just like any other manufacturer does now. They are prone to battery issues, electronic issues. They're no saints. You just have to really do your homework. Ford should have kept making it. Hope it doesn't have it. Yeah, there's a guy I follow on TikTok. His name is there's Topless Mechanic, and he calls himself the Pentastar Daddy. And he does a lot of the rockers on the 3.6s, and he does a lot of the cams. But he's got a way of doing it where you don't have to pull the timing chains and everything all apart. He gets the timing where it needs to be, and then he puts like little wedges down next to the chain to hold it in, and then he pulls the covers off. And he's got a way of slipping the cams and stuff out of there without having to pull the entire front cover off. But they're known for rocker issues, lifter issues. No, what is that? That's overhead valve. So it's got a, is it rocker over valve? I forget how those are set up. But the rockers right on the tube, the tube gets oiled and it starts to plug up with varnish and stuff, and it stops the oil from getting to the rockers to lubricate them properly and causes even more problems. So overall, I just don't think it's a really good design. Yeah, the oil coolers. Yep. The center mount oil cooler, oil filter housing assembly in the center of the engine. I replace those at the dealer all the time. Whenever I take them in as used cars, almost every single one of them are leaking. The thermostats, like the thermostat assembly on the front of the engine, likes to leak. The oil cooler assembly likes to leak on those. All right, I'm gonna get one more set of bent over rows. They put these weights away, and then I'm going to do some shoulder work real quick. What's up, cruising for burgers? Dorman only lasts 2 years until this cold snap started leaking antifreeze. Dorman what? Oh, Grand Marquis better replacement for intake manifold. Yeah, Grand Marquis 2004. That's the PI setup, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the first year. Either 2003 or 2004 was the first year for the PI setup. When you answer that, just to correct me, because my brain's not working right now, I'm pretty sure that's the first year or the second year. Okay, yes. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to Summit Racing, and you're gonna find the Summit Racing intake manifold. It's the same exact one as Ford restamped and came out with a brand new intake manifold that replaces the old factory style. No matter what, there's no more factory style intake manifolds from the original. You got about 10 more horsepower out of them. With the Summit Racing one, that's the exact Ford Performance one that they just came out with. It's the exact stamped one. Go find my video on here on the Grand Marquis, where I recently, a couple months ago, put the Summit Racing intake manifold, and I'm looking at it and like, wait, this is the same thing as the Ford Performance one that they just came out with. It's just stamped Summit on it. And then I started looking around online, and sure as shit, it's made by the same company. It's just stamped Summit, and it's $200 less than the Ford one. And follow my video. I show you how to install it. I basically talk about the differences, and I kind of give some commentary as I go along. It's a $200 intake manifold. It's the same exact one as the $400 new revised version. It's a better intake manifold. You're going to lose about 7-8 horsepower out of it typically, because it is an aftermarket intake manifold. But what I would like to see is I would like to see somebody do a comparison with Boost. The regular PI style, the original one, versus the new PI style that Ford just came out with, that you lose a little bit of power on a stock application, but it looks like the runners are wider. Like the new one, you could hold more volume if you were running Boost, and you'd probably make more power with the new Ford Performance one versus the old factory one under Boost. But if you're not boosting it, you're going to lose about 7-8 horsepower out of it. But that's on the top end. You're not really going to notice it until you get to the top end. Or low end. It's vice versa. I forget how it goes. Morning, Craig. Morning, Joe. You're welcome, Ken. Merry Christmas. Come on. I'm trying to get readjusted here. Trying to get through these workouts quick so then I can get in the house, and when they wake up, Mom can focus on Christmas stuff that she's doing, and I could take the baby, spend the morning with the baby. Alright, I'm going to do some shoulder work real quick, shoulder/back work real quick. You guys got any questions, make sure you're dropping them in there. Make sure if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so. I'm going to increase the weight a little bit on the shoulder workout, see if I can do it. My shoulder's really been jacked up lately. Doctor said be careful with going above like 10-15 pounds on the shoulder work stuff. If you're injured, you can really hurt yourself, but I'm going to try and see what happens. Let's see. Feel that. That's gonna hurt. Getting 10. God, that hurts. I'll try to push through it and see what happens more. Really? Yeah. 10th mountain back when I was actually fit. Trying to get back there. It hurts. I don't know that I should be going with 25 pounds for something so sensitive like, you know, a rotator movement like that. I may end up having to drop lower for Nissan Frontiers. I don't know. I mean, Nissan's always been pretty good with their engines overall. It's not the engines that's the problem, it's the transmissions. People seem to really like the newer Frontiers with very little complaints. So I think you might find that you like it as well. 10th Mountain Division tattoo. I was in the 25th in Hawaii. Yeah, I was in Louisiana at Fort Polk. Second ACR disbanded, and then they created us in their place. So I had my tattoo artist do it, but he said he couldn't copy the 10th Mountain tattoo exactly. He said I have to make my own little tweak to it because technically that's somebody else's art, but I can redo it a little bit to make it more personalized to me and you, so that way I'm not like breaking the law or anything. So I had him do it this way. And it came out pretty clean. You can't really see it too well. I don't know. Probably should be focusing on my workout, but came out pretty clean. He put some white over in the sides around the border, and then on the top, kind of did some white on the top, and then or like more of a peach color, like let my skin bleed through, and did half blue where the swords cross. Left some white down at the end of the swords because he was like, I can't copy it exactly just because, you know, it's just not right for me to do that as an artist. I wouldn't want somebody to take my artwork but he said what I can do is I can make it our version of what me and you like, and I love it. Oh, God. Whew. Oh, God, you can feel it right where the cuff is, the rotator cuff is. It doesn't hurt, but it's sensitive. Let's just put it that way. I think I'm stopping there today because I'm starting to feel a little bit of a burn. Now I'll move over here, finish out with some flat stuff before I go in, make it quick. Air Assault tattoo in the same place. I wish I was Air Assault. I never got a chance to train. Get certified. With me being a 13 Foxtrot, having an artillery MOS attached to an infantry unit, I basically was not qualified for a lot of the badging and accommodations that assault or infantry got, because technically my MOS wasn't infantry even though I was doing infantry work. So I was kind of the bastard child of the group because I'm an artillery guy attached to an infantry unit, kicking indoors and doing stuff that infantry is doing. So yeah, that sucked. The work didn't suck. It was the not getting recognized like the other guys do. I have no idea what that is. Cruising. Merry Christmas, rocker. Let me see if I can put you guys over here for the better. Getting there. Shoulders and traps starting to round out. Still got the fat that I need to get rid of, but it's slowly shrinking in. Slowly. The love handles are like 60% gone, so I got some work there for sure. I want to get a camera for right here, or not a camera, but a light. That's going to be annoying. Sorry guys, trying to move this out of the way so the weights ain't in it every single time I move, and then the camera keeps adjusting. Beast mode it is. It's gonna feel good, man. I'm trying to get this workout in now, because I won't have time to pretty much do it later. We've got church later, and then we go over to the family's house, and then we go to the other family's house tomorrow. So, putting in the work, trying to get it done. Okay, it's working. It's working. I'm starting to feel it, trying to get warmed up. I've noticed the lat pull down stuff is really starting to make my back wide, and I'm starting to see muscles that I've not seen in a long time. The most improvement I've seen so far for my back has been from lat pull downs, the dumbbell rows, the bent over barbell rows, and deadlifts. Man, deadlifts, I feel like my back, my traps, everything's engaging, and the deadlifts have been helping out a lot. But the main thing for me is the lat pull downs and the dumbbell rows have really helped out the most. Have a Merry Christmas to you as well. What is my resting heart rate? Morning user. I don't know. It's really healthy, so I'm just not really sure. Resting heart rate. I'm not sure what it is. So it's a healthy range. Last time I was at the doctor, when we were talking about everything, we got into resting heart rate, elevated heart rate, different heart rate intervals for cardio training versus intensity training and stuff like that. So I just know it's healthy. And when I went to the doctor this last time, my blood pressure was 118 over 80, and the doctor said that's fine, it's healthy. The last time I was at the doctor was 117 over 72, and he was like, you got your blood pressure and stuff under check, which that's really good. The weight loss really helped. So all right, I need to go with some now. Now I need to start adding some weight to this. These next 3 sets I think are going to be, actually the next 2 to 3 sets are going to be pretty heavy. I want to load up on these a little bit. So what is this? This is 140. So I got 140 on right now. I'm going to pull this, depending on how I feel, I'm going to pull this 12 times, I think. You should try for 12. I'm a little tired today. Leg extension and lat pull downs are not fun. They burn. But that's a good thing. Yeah. I love leg extensions though, man. I just got to be careful with my knees. Squats for me seem to really do an overall balance for my leg all the way around. Hamstring, quads, butt muscles, the muscles surrounding the knee. The doctor actually recommended and the physical therapist as well, recommended that I do start practicing squats at least once a week and trying to progressively get a little heavier, but don't kill myself in the process, because they said that overall is like a total knee, quad, hamstring, stability muscles, butt muscles. It just engages everything, and it does a phenomenal job working those areas. But doing it safely, keeping the knees back behind the toes, and just really focusing on the movement, the mind-muscle connection part of the movement. All right. Watching me on the shitter. My son! Where have you been, my son? Oh my God, I miss you so much. You tell me, oh, you're watching me from the pooper. Oh, how thankful, how thoughtful of you, watching me from the pooper. How thoughtful of you. You know, if I was there, I would stand behind you and push down on your shoulders really hard, and like a pulsing type event, I would help you push it out. That's how much I care about you. I stand on the back of the toilet and I jump on your shoulders. Push the demon out. Go away, demon. Satan's child. Oh. Dropping the kids off in the school, in the local pool. Apple juice, so I ain't got no trouble moving it. Oh, apple juice. All that does is give me high blood sugar. It doesn't do shit for me. All right. Come on. Shh. Ugh. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, I'm gonna go with, you know, I keep the same weight, and I'll just try to do some pause sets. Yeah, releasing the Kraken, taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, dropping the kids off at the pool, adding Tootsie Rolls to the Tootsie Roll factory, making a Snickers bar, baking a cake for your worst enemy. Ah! Showing the cows how to create a real cow pie. Ay, ay, ay. You guys want to hear it? Let me bring you close for this. So, feedlots use applicants to fatten cattle. The same grain is used in breakfast cereals. Insatiable grazing. I lost 30 pounds grazing. Ha! I don't try to eat cereals at all. You know the story behind cereals and why grain cereals were actually created. If you ever get the fancy or the itch to figure it out, look up Margaret Sanger, the Seventh-day Adventist, and Robert Kellogg, and read the story about why they started using grain cereal to feed the Seventh-day Adventist men. The answer is, the reason they did that is because they were trying to give them more grain, because they noticed if they had more grain, they were less horny, and they wanted to mess with girls less, because they did not want that in their cult group. And that's why they gave them grain-based cereals and treats, because they noticed it reduced the production of testosterone in men. And they had less urges to screw around. They wanted the men to just be not interested in act on their human instinct, which is to be attracted to women and be horny. Okay. Side quarters. Morning. Merry Christmas. Ah! Ah! Wait, so cereal makes people gay? Yeah, it does. Don't you find it kind of funny how Nicki Minaj, out of all people, are getting involved in politics? Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now people can't even go talk to their or follow their favorite artists or artists they're interested in without hearing about politics. That's all she wrote. Cut these heaters off and I'm going inside. Starting to get all the veins coming up through where I've never seen them before. I like it. I like it. I like it. Last time I seen the veins in my arms was when I was like in my early 20s. I'm gonna be 40 in January. Now when I do it, I can see the veins that come through here when I'm working out, and the one that crosses over and goes back down. And then as I'm working biceps, the one in my arm right here will start to bulge out. Same with this one. I haven't seen, this one is gonna be a little harder, but I can see where all the veins are starting to come through, or I haven't seen it. I used to brag about it when I was a young man. I used to say, look, I got a butthole on my forearm. And when I would flex my forearm, my arm would go like this and it would come back down and it would go back out. But I'm starting to see it's coming back slowly. This one, under certain light, I can see and I can feel the vein. It's just, man, I can't wait to get leaner so I can just It's a good sign, fellas. It's a good sign. It's a great sign. Now I'm gonna go drink like a quarter gallon of water. She actually made good music back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago, but now I think she's just trying to stay relevant in the worst possible way. Yeah, and you know what, to me, honestly, Jay, because of how society wants the attachment to this more vulgar, more open way of communicating, instead of like the more tasteful, vulgar way, if I could even say that. I don't even know if that makes sense. Some of the stuff I hear her say, sometimes it's just absolutely disgusting. And you're right, she did have some catchy stuff back in the day, but now it's like, I don't know, some of you might not even like that kind of music at all, but I actually grew up listening to all types of music, heavy on rap and heavy on country. So when I'm at work, I'm typically listening to children's songs because my daughter's got me into children's songs. I like singing them with her. Or I'll listen to rap or I'll listen to country. Now, if I'm feeling a little depressed and a little out of it and stuff like that, I might put on some old Korn stuff or System of a Down or whatever it is. But mainly, I listen to like old school rap and older country music. It's just what I'm into. I'm not into a lot of this newer stuff. Every once in a while, I might listen to one of the newer country songs or hip hop songs, but to me, it's not even really rap anymore. It's just garbage. Public Enemy, yeah. Who were the original gangsters back in the day that started rapping that were their name is right on the tip of my tongue. Who were the original ones, man? They were just vulgar when they started rapping. It was like back in the mid to late 80s. Oh, God. They were kind of rough for that time. Eazy-E was one. No, but no, it wasn't really Eazy-E though. What was the group name that was geez, this is gonna bother me now. NWA. That's it. NWA. They were the original ones that I was like, wait a second. Damn. These guys are rough, but they're speaking the truth, and I kind of like it. So I listened to NWA a lot, and we were actually listening to NWA the other day at work. I turn it loud down enough to where the customers can't hear what's being said, but Tupac, Biggie, NWA, what was it, Ice Cube back in the day, But there was even somebody before them. When you watch the documentary on Diddy, the Diddy documentary that 50 Cent just released, there was an OG in that movie that they said was like, he was like the very first one that started to actually really boost up the rap game. And I forget, it was a big tall dude, kind of heavy set. Big, I forget his name, was it Big something? Anyway. Oh, I love Alice in Chains. Christian rap, yeah. Christian rap, one of my coworkers, he really likes listening to that. He won't listen to new music. He only listens to Christian music and children's like movie songs and stuff like that. He doesn't believe in listening to newer music just because it's not good for the brain at all. It's not good for it might make us feel good because we're so accustomed to it and use it for our feel good sensation, but he said years ago he just quit listening to anything mainstream when it comes to rap or country or rock. He only listens to Christian music and the children's songs. So all right, y'all. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everything. I couldn't do this without you guys. The channel's really been growing lately, and I think it's because of all the engagement from you guys. A lot of companies are reaching out to me, and they're really expressing interest in the things that I talk about and the work and stuff that I do and how I talk about the industry and how I show you guys tools that I'm really passionate about, that I actually enjoy, that I like. So it's been working, and I think at some point, I don't really know. I'll be honest with you. I interviewed for a position yesterday. I talked about this on my last live stream. I think one of my last live streams. But at 2:30 yesterday, Volvo owns a EV bus company that supplies the Chicago Transit Authority with over 600 buses, EV buses. And when they were looking at resumes and stuff on Indeed, the original hiring or the original like recruitment manager looked past my resume because I didn't have a lot of management experience. I only had a year and a half, 2 years management experience. So they looked past my resume, but the actual hiring manager went back through and found my resume, and he was like, wait a second, this guy has everything that I'm actually looking for. And the recruitment manager or the talent manager was like, well, I guess he told him, I didn't think you wanted him because you wanted more management experience. And he was like, no, this guy's got diesel experience. He's got manufacturer experience. He's got independent experience. He's worked as a manager at a shop. He's dealt with warranty stuff, so he's very familiar with paperwork. I want to call this guy, set up an appointment with this guy, do the initial interview, and then I'll take the second interview. And they, on Monday, last Monday, they wanted to talk to me, and I talked to the original interview lady. And she said, wow, you got everything that we're looking for. You passed the first interview. All the questions that we have to even make sure you're familiar with like stuff with EV stuff. You've passed it all. I'm going to go ahead and move you on to the hiring manager, and then he'll interview you on Monday. Well, Monday he got busy. So he said, can we do it Tuesday about 2:30? And he called me up, and he was talking to me, and he said, do you understand the responsibility that this position requires? You're basically getting hired in as a field engineer without an engineering degree. You are going to be the technical manager for this entire area. There's over 600 buses at just one location alone. And it's your job to make sure that you look over all the HQR paperwork. You look all over all of the technician submitted paperwork and stuff for things that they're seeing wrong with the buses, things that they see fit. You're a field service engineer, or what Volvo or Volkswagen would call as a QTM engineer, and you're monitoring this entire operation in this region that we have the buses here. It's your job to specifically monitor all of this. Anytime there's a problem that's new that arises in the field, if they can't figure it out right away, there's a report that's generated. We wait and we see if it actually happens again. If it happens a second and third time, you being the field service engineer, you have to now justify yourself going out in the field and working on these EV buses with these technicians and come up with a solution for it. Sometimes there is no solution. Sometimes there's just a problem that needs to be, something needs to be re-engineered to fix the problem. But it's your job to look over the entire operation here, and you are the lead on the technical side. There's a guy in New York that's the lead on the administrative side, and you follow suit with him. But unless you bless off on repairs being made or like a discovery being done on a part that seems to be bad over and over again, he can't override you and you can't override him. So you guys actually work together. He looks at the administrative side, make sure all the paperwork and stuff's getting documented properly to make sure all of the stuff's getting paid, the technicians are getting paid properly, and then it's your job to make sure the work is actually getting done and the customer service side is actually being fixed. So he says, you know, the starting pay is $110,000 a year. You get a company car, company gas card. There's quarterly bonuses and there's holiday bonuses. And the guy said, he started asking me a bunch of questions, and he said, tell me about your career. So I kind of went start to finish, and he said, wow, you've had a heck of a life. You know, you've come a long way from being, you know, a kid that's kind of distraught to getting in this field in the military and stuff like that. He said, I have a lot of respect for you, man. I have a lot of respect for you. You're the only veteran that I've actually interviewed. And he said, I've interviewed 4 people this week for this position. But he said, I appreciate you taking the time to explain kind of your life to me and stuff like that. And then he had some basic questions. He was like, you know, can you explain to me what Ohm's law is? And I said, yeah, it's E over I times R. It's voltage divided by intensity times resistance. In order to find resistance, you can use voltage divided by intensity, which will give you your resistance. Or if you want to find voltage, what your voltage should be or what you need, it's intensity times resistance gives you voltage, and vice versa. Voltage divided by resistance gives you intensity. And he said, it's perfectly put. That's great. It was right to the point. And he says, can you explain what resistance is? And I explained it, and then he said, can you explain what amperage is? And I explained it, and he said, tell me what voltage does. I explained it, and he was like, you're like really good at explaining this stuff. And I said, I am. I do a lot of videos. I talk to a lot of people. I like teaching other people about this stuff. And he said, that's what we need here, because when you go into the field and you're working with these technicians at these bus centers and stuff like that, these garages, you have to be able to teach them. You have to be able to show them. You have to be able to tell them what a voltage drop is. And he said, what's a voltage drop? I told him what a voltage drop was and how you have to isolate the circuit. And you measure the distance from one end to the other with an unloaded circuit. And I said I wouldn't just rely on a voltage drop. I would actually rely more on a voltage drop followed by a load test. And he was like, that's very, very good. I couldn't answer it any better myself. So he was like, all right, you seem like you know what you're doing. And he said, you do understand that this is a field service engineer position, but you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to have an engineering degree. I need somebody like yourself with a very wide variety of background. Somebody that will go into the field, that doesn't have a troubleshooting guide, that's just going to get on the bus and get dirty and work on it with these technicians and figure out what it is. That's it. I don't want to hear complaining or how come I don't have this or how come I don't have that. It's literally your job to figure it out. You come up with the training. You come up with the troubleshooting steps. And we annotate and write things in as we go to figure out what's going on and what needs to be fixed. And he said, you're the perfect guy for the job. But I have to go through these other interviews, and I have to give these other people that applied a chance that were selective candidates. And by the end of next week, I'll get back to you. So I'm excited. Do I want to switch jobs again? No. Here's the problem that I'm having right now. My Army experience no, I don't think my Army experience played a key role in my knowledge. It's just my drive to get the job done and not quit and just die on it if I have to figure it out. Yeah, the Army gave me a lot of discipline in that area. So here's the problem that I'm having. That's what he said, Norton. Design on the fly is not for everybody. And he said, that's why I need somebody that will think outside the box. If you're seeing a part that's failing over and over again, how is it failing? How do you suggest that we go to look at fixing it? And let's get it to the engineering department so they can actually, or the manufacturing engineering department, so they can actually look at it and take your suggestions and see if they can make it better. Or maybe your suggestion is right on point and that's what they need to do to fix the part. Maybe something's rubbing, maybe something's making noise. Maybe there's a module that's constantly dropping out and the CAN network's down. So you have to try to figure out what in the CAN network is causing, what on the network is causing the CAN network to be down. It could be a specific module. He asked me that as well. He said, what if you have a CAN network that's down? And I said, well, first of all, I would try to make sure that whatever's powering this, all the modules that are online and whatever's powering this network has to have power. It has to have ground. The modules have to be able to individually communicate. And if they can't communicate on the CAN network, what I would start doing is isolating the circuit. I would isolate the modules. I would check terminating resistance on the network to make sure that that's there. I would then go through and isolate each individual module and then retest my CAN network to see if I'm back up and communicating. But before I did any of that, I would make sure I had a complete CAN network, that there was no break in the wire anywhere, that there was no rub somewhere that's causing it to be down. And then I would start pulling each module online off to see if my communication comes back up. And if it does, I know I've isolated my problem. Because he said, you're not always going to have pinpoint tests and troubleshooting guides for CAN network stuff. It's just not going to be there. You're going to have to figure it out, and then you're going to have to write the information in that then will then be published. So he liked all my answers. He said, I really feel like you're great for this, but by company policy, I got to give other candidates a possibility or a chance to hire for this job anyway. So I feel real good about it. I feel like my answers were on point. It wasn't too much. It was exactly what needed to be done for somebody that likes to work on the fly like myself. The reason why I'm even thinking about switching jobs is I'm not going anywhere in this field as a mechanic. You know, I'm going to be stuck at the same exact spot, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm still going to bring content. I'm still going to be able to, you know, I'm still going to be able to show you guys vehicle stuff. But there's some drawbacks. We just voted the union in at our shop. The reason we voted the union in is because we're not liking some things that are going on. And there was no way for us to really get the help that we wanted to get. And there was no consistency with management over and over again. We have a couple great managers, and we have a couple managers that were kind of like, eh. So all of the techs came together as a whole and said the only way out of this is either leaving this job and going somewhere else, or we vote the union in and we try to bring some structure back to this place and kind of get everybody organized. So we decided to vote the union in. It was a 8-1 vote. 2 guys were out in training, so they couldn't vote. And the one guy, we know why he voted the way he did, because he's very good friends with the service manager. So he basically had to vote no in order to stay in good graces with our service manager. So, with that being said, there's an issue there. And here's another issue. I'm on the books. I'm getting paid as a journeyman tech, but I'm not getting paid as a journeyman tech. The other journeyman techs in the shop are making $46.15 an hour. I'm making $42 an hour with the incentive that when I hit 40, anything over 40 goes to 43, which is not bad pay. But that was not the agreement when I started at this place. The agreement when I started at this place is I was getting hired on as a journeyman tech, not a lower wage journeyman tech. And that never happened. And I brought it up to management twice, and they bumped me up a little bit, and then they bumped me up a little bit, and now they've stopped, and they're not even trying to get me to the same journeyman wage that everybody else is making. So now either I put the ball in their court and say, you pay me the same as everybody else, or I'm leaving. Which I'm pretty sure if I went and did that, they'd be like, no, we can't lose you. We'll give you what everybody else is making. Or I pack up and go to a better career that I could last a very long time and feel more fulfilled and actually being a part of something bigger than what I am now, that takes more knowledge than what I have now. I do have the most experience in the shop. I've been doing it longer than anybody there, if not maybe one guy the same time as me. And I've got more experience with, heavy duty stuff and electrical stuff overall. So when the other guys can't figure out the Volkswagen stuff and it's something else or it's something out of the ordinary, they come get me. And I go help them and I look at it with them. Me, or there's another guy in the shop that's really good with stuff like that as well. And I've been doing it longer than him. So, and they pay me $4 an hour less, which doesn't make any sense. I head up their used car department. I work on the trade-in cars, the auction cars. I do all the extended warranty work. I literally save them thousands of dollars every month by doing what I do for them. And they've admitted that. They said the month that I was gone, the first job that I was going on, they lost almost $6,000 that could have been done in-house because I wasn't there and none of the other techs felt comfortable doing it. That right there alone is $6,000 they lost on that job that could have been an in-house extended warranty job had it went through me. I do all of the extended warranty work, even on the brand new stuff. If it's not programming, and it's not under warranty, I repair it and I do it myself, no matter how small or how big. That right there, management has said that saves us thousands because we've never had a guy in that position make more than $30 an hour. You're our first guy making over $40 an hour, and we've never had a guy in that position stay more than 6 months. I've been there for a year and a half, and they said, we really appreciate that. Um, I'm struggling right now to figure out where I need to be in this automotive field. I don't feel completely fulfilled as a mechanic. I feel like I want to be a bigger part of somebody else's life. I want to teach techs. I want to show them how things work. I want to be a part of their troubleshooting journey. And I think if I got the position at the EV bus line place, that I would take it. The benefits are great. Company car. He said right now, this time of year, they've got the bus repairs and stuff pretty much under control. So 70 to 80% of the time you're at home behind a computer, going over paperwork, going over troubleshooting guides, looking at problems that are happening at different bus locations, trying to keep track of how fast or how much they're actually becoming a problem. And then you make a decision on where you need to go to troubleshoot the worst case scenario first with these guys. And he said right now, most people are just at home working for the company, waiting for the call to go out and actually be a field service engineer. So he said you're getting paid the entire time that you're home, from 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. But he said if I hired you, what I'd end up having you do is for the first few months, I want you out in the field. Go into the different bus locations, meeting with the different technicians, getting familiar with them, introducing yourself, making friends with them, go to lunch with them and stuff like that so they get to know who you are. You get to know their personalities. You get to know which ones are in which role, because if there's a mechanic that doesn't fit in a specific role and that facility manager is using him in the wrong role, it's up to you to speak up and make that correction and have the right mechanic be put in that position because that guy's not ready yet. You got to look over their training and stuff. You got to make sure that the training and stuff is all caught up and that these guys are on par with what the facility manager is having them do. It's bigger than just being a technical lead on the field. You're like actually part of their life, making sure that they're actually getting taken care of. So I think if I get the opportunity to do it, I'm going to do it. I hope that doesn't make you guys think less of me, but I don't feel like being just a mechanic for the rest of my life for the next 20 years is it's going to make me feel all that satisfied. I'd rather go to the engineering side, management side, and actually do something with myself. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Hope it all comes through. And that way I'll be able to bring some more knowledge to you guys. More EV stuff. We can talk about some stuff going on in the EV world to try to make some of the techs that are here on this channel more knowledgeable as well. And that could bring a whole new sector to this channel. Obviously, you guys can see that I've stopped talking about politics and I've stopped talking about a lot of drama stuff on here just because I can't anymore, man. It really makes me upset. It starts getting in my head. It starts following me throughout the day. I just can't. I got to give it a break for a while. I know that there's important things to talk about, but I just don't want to be involved in talking about it all right now. Yeah, I mean, I get it, Norton, but I can't always think that way, man. So, and with, that position is a very, very good position. It's a very stable position. I mean, this facility bought over 600 buses at one facility. 600 buses throughout the Chicagoland area. I mean, that's going to require somebody to be employed for a long time to stay on top of all those buses. So, anyhow, no negative thoughts here. Merry Christmas. Spend some time with your family. Give the doggos and the kitty cats and stuff some extra treats. Give them some love. Give them some pets, some hugs. Make sure you call somebody up if you can. If you know somebody you haven't talked to in a while that you really care about, text them, call them up, ask them how they're doing. Wish them Merry Christmas. Please do that. There's so many people this time of year right now think about ending their lives because of not having anybody or not being able to talk to anybody, just please do that. Just one phone call, one text message, whatever may be the difference in somebody just understanding that they can be here just a little bit longer, that somebody actually does care about them. Okay? All right. I love y'all. Be blessed. I'm out. Take care. Merry Christmas.